Hey everybody, I think we're live here, and I want to welcome everybody. My name's Josh. I am the co-founder and the CEO of Botsheets, and we have a lot of new people that we've welcomed to the Botsheets family over the last few months. It's been an exciting year, and I wanted to welcome you to the community, give you a little bit of a background on who we are. We've been around for actually a few years, so everyone, we were into AI before AI was cool, and everybody hated chatbots. But here we are now. Everybody, uh, you know, loves chatbots because the technology works fairly well and it's become very accessible. We are veterans in the space, and I wanted to share both some developments that we've been working on with you and for you. And we have a lifetime deal that we're running right now. We never thought that we would actually do a lifetime deal, but we thought that this was a good opportunity to engage the community in our product development. Your feedback really matters. Understanding, what your needs are and making you an active participant in our product development is really is important to us. So instead of just putting up a subscription and then having you pay to ongoing as we're developing, we thought let's open up a period of time where you could pay once and you'll get a voice and you'll be an active participant in what we're building. And and we'll bring that value back to you. So it's a great deal. We've probably got a couple of weeks left. It's been an interesting experience for the first couple of weeks. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you the quick background, the problems that we're solving, why we're solving them, where we're at now, and where we're going. And I'm going to do a good amount of screen sharing. So you guys don't have to stare at my beard the whole time, but we can dive into a little bit more about the Botsheets product and the vision for where we see this going. So what I need to do here is I need to see where I can screen share. Let's see where this goes. Hang on. We're going to see where to do that. We don't typically do the live format. Usually we pre-record, but we'll find it here. Let me just see if I can find it. What I would encourage you to do while I'm looking for this feature here is to share with us your comments. What is it that you like? What is it that you don't like? What do you want to see? What's most important to you? And then we can talk about some of those features, like why are those features of value to you? Because the way we like to work is people will tell us, oh, they like they want this, and it's easy to get pulled in a lot of different directions. We don't want to be one of those companies that's pulled in a whole bunch of different directions, and then you end up we spread ourselves too thin, and then everyone gets frustrated because they're not getting what they want. We like to understand what it is, put it out there on our roadmap if you haven't seen that already, and then you can all upvote what are the things that are most important to you. Anyways, if anyone knows where the screen sharing is on this, that would be helpful. Trying to figure that out in our dashboard here. But anyways, let me give you the background as we're talking about it. The company was formed in 2019 originally. We identified a problem in the market, which is that people wanted to build chatbots, but they were building these rule-based chatbots with these visual flow builders, and they didn't work very well. Marketers would try and script a conversation, where it was going to go. They wanted to funnel users down a certain path, but people send messages and then it goes off the path. and um, uh, and then it kind of the conversational experience falls apart and the customer gets really frustrated. So AI solves a lot of those problems. Your goal is, you might want to capture some data from people, and you can, instead of saying, okay, do this, then do this, and do this, we let AI determine what is it that, what is the data that you want to collect, and it determines how it's going to collect it. It's going to determine what questions to ask, how to ask them, and when to ask them. And so you let AI do all the heavy lifting, and that way you don't have to worry if a user goes off path or they don't follow your script. It'll answer their questions, and it'll take it'll extract data from those messages, but it'll also ask all the right questions to collect the data you need. And so we've chosen to have that data written to Google Sheets because everybody's already working in Google Sheets. It's easy to manage. It integrates into an existing workflow, and then somebody's actually just giving me the go to the startup menu and choose start screen share. Go to the startup menu. Interesting. Okay. Well, I'll find that. Anyways, you get what happens is you get people sending messages, and AI will try and collect the data you need. You don't have to worry about the order of the data or the order of the questions. You can prioritize, or you can set certain data points as required, and then the bot is more persistent about collecting it. But it's you let AI do all the heavy lifting. But the original, that's just writing to sheets, and that's an easy problem that's solved with AI. But the other problem that we're solving, and which we solved when we first got started, was that marketers and small businesses, they all wanted to manage content for a chatbot, and the easiest way to do that was from a database. But databases are expensive to set up, and they're hard to manage and administrate. You need a developer for that. And we thought, okay, we can take Google Sheets and use that as a database. You just enter all your data into columns, and your data and a chatbot can read that data like a Google Sheet and generate a response. And that, to me, is really compelling, especially for if you think of all the businesses that have frequently changing content, like an e-commerce business has a list of products and their attributes, price, inventory, sizes, colors, all that stuff. All of that can be put into columns in a Google Sheet, and a chatbot can, collect some preferences by, asking questions, what size, what color, all those actionable data points, and then use that data to then search a sheet and generate a response. And the responses are much more personalized, they're much more accurate. That's not to say that the way that all these other GPT chatbots are working isn't correct. It's just a much deeper, more personalized experience for the customer. So we support all those other features that you would expect, like importing a URL or uploading a PDF, and that's all fine for managing a knowledge base, like frequently asked questions, just one to many. But if a customer comes in and they have specific requirements or preferences, and you can capture those preferences with AI, and then use the preferences that you capture, not just to write that data to Google Sheets, but to actually take it and search a Google Sheet and generate a personalized response, it's much more actionable. So currently we do that with text. If you're a ManyChat user, which was where we originally got started, we actually can generate these cards. So you can put like an image in a Google Sheet, like a link to an image, and you can put a button, all that data can be in a sheet, and we'll generate cards. So we plan to do that as well with our GPT solution. That's coming. For now, we're just at the point where we're generating responses dynamically from the data, but they're text responses. So in terms of that's another point, been a point of confusion. We have like a ManyChat plugin, and then we have our GPT solution. And our goal is to take everything we've been doing with ManyChat and bringing it to our GPT, and then take our AI and make it anyone who's a ManyChat user just be able to connect to it and use GPT. So they're kind of two different products. They're coming together slowly, uh, but it takes time. And yeah, so a couple of things that we released recently, which I think would be helpful to understand, is um, uh, every time that somebody engages with a chatbot, uh, it'll um, it'll at the end of the chat session, it'll send you an email notification. And so just this morning, we released the ability for you to customize that email notification. You can include multiple email recipients. You can remove our logo. You can choose to include just the data points. You can include the full transcript of the conversation. So that's really helpful if you're an agency and you're serving other businesses. They don't even have to come into a dashboard to get all the leads. You just add their email address, and it'll just send all the leads to them by email. And so that's a nice feature that we're working on. What else can I tell you? Yeah, integration. So right now we have a web chat, which is fairly standard. It's like a widget, and we also have a direct link, and you can share a direct link, and it's like a full screen conversational experience. And we also have like a page embed. So these are all baseline features of chatbot solutions, and we are going to bring a direct Facebook integration. But the thing that we prioritized is an API that's going to make it easy for anyone to connect directly to Botsheets. And essentially, if you're building chatbots with like a third-party, chatbot solution, and you want to just use Botsheets as like a database tool for managing dynamic content and capturing leads, you'll just be able to plug into that. So that's kind of our first integration, is making it so that if you're a Go High level user, you can send a request to Botsheets, or if you are if you want to do any of the channels yourselves, you can, like any of the customer channels like WhatsApp or whatever. You'll be able to build that experience yourself if you have those skills. Also, there's been some requests for some more agency features, and those things are coming. Like one of the things that people want is they ask for a CNAME, which is like their own. They want to use their own domain for chat, so it feels more white label. So that is something that we're going to be adding. If you're on the lifetime deal, it would be part of your tier 3, only available on tier 3, or it would be on our subscription plans. It would be on our unlimited plan. So it's more of an agency feature to be able to white label the chat using your own domain. That's coming. We don't have it available today, but it is on our roadmap. And yeah, I'm still trying to find how to do screen share on this. So that's a lesson learned. I don't even know. There's somebody saying go to the startup menu and choose start screen share. And I don't even see the startup menu. So let me see if there's any other questions here. Keep the comments coming, and I can answer them. What I would like to see is CNAME. Okay, so somebody already put that in. Sure, Jimmy, that's coming. If I subscribe to ChatGPT level 4, will it benefit with me with Botsheets? I'm assuming you mean GPT-4. This is important. You can bring your own API, your own OpenAI key to Botsheets. So we do give credits. We have message credits on each plan, and on our tier 3, we have like 10,000 each month, which is pretty generous. But you can bring your own API key, and if you do bring your own API key, you would need to have GPT-4. So your OpenAI account, you would want to check to make sure that you have that, because what we're doing is pretty sophisticated, and requires the latest. And to answer the question that people often ask is, do we get what happens if we switch to GPT-5 or so on? Yeah, you're going to always get the latest. Because at some point we're just not going to support older technology. We're going to upgrade, and you would get those. So I know that some people feel that like they might buy into a lifetime deal and that's what they're getting stuck with, but that's not how we work. We're for full transparency. If our lifetime deal plans map to our subscription plans, uh, for the most part, and whatever we're offering, you're going to get the benefits of that. Otherwise, it's not a lifetime deal. It's just like a limited deal until the technology falls apart. So, not to worry about that. Um, uh, Let me see here. I like the structures data to find chat about chaotic. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just going through the comments here, and appreciate the feedback, Tim. Um, I think the thing that to note, what like the main difference between what we do and what all the other GPT things or solutions on the market is that we're really focused on structured data, right? And when we talk about training AI, um, AI prefers structured data. So structured, Google Sheets or spreadsheet is a universal interface for managing structured data, right? Like if you could export from Google Sheets or Excel, and you can export in CSV format, it's structured data. So AI works best with that type of data. All the other data, like the URLs and the PDFs, that's considered unstructured data. So what all the chatbot platforms do is they'll analyze that data using what's called a semantic search. So they'll search through that data, and it'll generate the best possible response, but it's not always accurate. It's AI tends to make things up. But when you're dealing with structured data, it has a much clearer boundaries around what that data is and what it represents. And so when you're setting up your Google Sheets, with make sure you put like your headers at the top of the columns. Like just make your Google Sheet have a easy to understand. If it's easy to understand for you, it's going to be easy to understand for AI. So add your column headers. Use column headers or data points when you create your data points. Try not to get too creative. Keep it really simple, like email address. I would do like email _ address. So that way it doesn't have to think of it as two words. It thinks of it as one. So just try and put yourself in if you can, in the shoes of what AI would want, so that it's easy. Column headers, easy to understand data points. You can have lots of data in there, but AI works best with that data. The other thing that we do is we sync up with your data. So currently in this beta period, once an hour, we'll automatically get the latest from your Google Sheet if you make changes. That might change that interval. We might have split that up into daily, or with higher plans up to hourly, or even shorter than that. But the idea is you connect a Google Sheet once, and you don't have to make any as you make changes to your data. We'll capture those changes. You don't have to keep uploading. You don't have to keep uploading new documents every time. Somebody asked here, can we integrate PDFs in multi-languages, which applies as an answer? So the short answer to that is you can upload, your chatbot will respond in the user's language. So whatever the user's messaging, it will, whatever language they're messaging, your bot will respond in that language. There are other language capabilities that we're adding into that creation, so that it'll generate data points, or at least the ones that we suggest will be in your language. But for now, you can just add those. So you can manually, when you're creating a bot, click add data point and just use your language to set up a data point. and AI will understand those data points, understand the messages, and it should work just fine. Um, but yes, the answer, Reese. So underscores to join all words in column headers. Yes. So like email underscore address, right? I've seen people get really creative and try and order things like data points with like numbers, like 1, 2, 3, and like all this stuff. Yeah, you can get creative, but don't get too creative because AI is just not going to know what to do with it. So give it a bunch of data points. It'll generate. It'll if it understands the data, and you can be descriptive too. I think that's also helpful. Like if your data points, they don't have to be long sentences, but if they can, if you can help it understand what the data is that you're trying to collect in the actual data point, that tends to work better as well. Okay, Mark here asks, I'm very successfully worked with dynamic forms, so using with logic pathways. Now I guess it's time for chat. I hope the chat will offer a bit of that structured approach of conditional forms. Okay, so we talk about conditions, and you guys are familiar probably with these automation workflows where, if it does this, go here. If it does this, go here. And what I would say is, think of a conversation as much more free form. It's going to take a number of different turns. You're gonna start the conversation with a question, right? A leading question, because that's a great way to start a conversation, and you might as well try and at least collect their name or something that you can take away from the conversation. But the conversation is going to go in a whole bunch of different directions. The customer's not going to want to provide you their email address, or you're going to ask a question, they're not going to have that, and then they're going to send a message, and you got to be prepared for that. So AI will answer that and then flip the conversation and ask a question, and it'll ask a relevant question too. So that's something else that we're doing on the back end, is that we are triggering or generating questions that are similar. Like if somebody says, if the bot says, how many is a real estate bot, and it says, how many bedrooms are you looking for? And the user puts in, a number. It's then knows to ask something like, all right, well, how many bathrooms, right? Or it's going to follow a logical path, but we let AI determine that path based on the flow of the conversation. And if you need specific rules, and you can create specific rules, like we know we have a venture capitalist that is investing in businesses using this to qualify investment opportunities. And what they do is they use our prompt editor to set specific rules. So the specific one rule is, if the company doesn't have annual revenue of $500,000, end the conversation immediately and tell them that it's not a great opportunity right now. So you can create those rules to qualify leads using our prompt editor. You're going to try and collect data, but if it's not, you have still more control over the behavior of the bot. So that would be, once you create your bot, you go into bot settings, then you go into data, and then you go into rules, and you'll see the prompt editor there, and you'll see some of our base prompt stuff, and just modify that with your own rules, and you have like full control over the behavior of the bot. But yeah, just keep in mind that the rules that we put in are in your best interest, so you don't want to necessarily delete all of them, otherwise it won't work at all. I would just enhance what we provided. Okay, let's look at some other. These are really good questions, by the way. Somebody here said, I want a sales bot, sell stuff, not just entertain. So it needs to be a very clear direction and intent. Yeah, so I mean, this is exactly what this is for. It's for sales. You can also use it for support as well, and I'll just give you kind of another creative way that people are doing this. That they'll have like a bunch of like e-commerce, right? you have a Shopify store, and then it processes a whole bunch of orders, and each one has a unique order ID, right? When you process those orders, and then they're using Zapier to dump all of those orders into a Google Sheet. And then when somebody communicates through their bot, the bot says, "What's your order number?" And so they input the order number that they got when they bought the product into the chatbot. The bot takes that order number, searches the Google Sheet, and says, "Oh, there's that order number, and I'm going to communicate the status of the order." So you really can do the full loop, not just on the leads and capturing all that data, replacing forms with GPT chatbots. You could do all that, but you can also, once you've captured, you're basically using Google Sheets as a database. So that data can come from any system you have, and your chatbot can just, if you can get the data into Google Sheets, then your chatbot can read the Google Sheet and communicate back to your customer. So it's quite powerful, or it's quite open-ended too, like what the use cases are. Another use case, which I thought was interesting, somebody wanted, these conversations are session based. So the session ends, they leave. If they come back later, it's a new conversation. They're starting over, right? But if they've captured an email address on that initial conversation with the customer, and that email address is written to a Google Sheet, well, you can connect that Google Sheet, or you can, you can connect that exact Google Sheet, the one you're using to capture the data. You can connect that to Botsheets, and if it asks the customer for their email address the next time, it'll search the Google Sheet and find the things that you previously spoke about. So you can almost get this like maintain some history by having data captured, written to a sheet, and then retrieved later on. So you can get really creative with how the bot behaves by reading this data. Somebody asked here, can I buy another tier 3 and stack the 10K message credits on my other account? No. I mean, I don't have an answer for that. I would say no, but maybe. I would say email support for that, and we can look at that. That's an interesting one, is the sort of the stacking. I know that some people with AppSumo they do like stacking codes. For us, it's like you could choose a plan that's right for you. If you need more message credits, we can we sell like message packs, but we might be willing to accommodate that situation where you buy multiple tier 3s and we'll stack the credits for you. I think we can make that happen. You just would need to email support and email the license keys for each of those. Somebody said, where do I find examples of data? We have a bunch of sample data sets you can use, and I'll just put them here in the comments so you can access them. But we got a real estate example, Amazon reviews. You can also you can just put your frequently asked questions in there as well. Like one column is the question, another column is the answer, and just put the headers, like the column headers are question, answer. And the question, again, because it's structured data, it's going to be more accurate than just uploading a PDF document, which you can do as well. But structured data is just so much more reliable, and it's also more intensive for us. So if anyone has sort of concerns about how much value we're providing in the deal, understand that what we are doing is a little bit more sophisticated than what some of the other chatbot solutions are, where they all kind of are like clones of each other. We're different. And you can see from our AppSumo reviews that people can see that we're different, both in it just works better. Things just work better when it's structured data. And you're already working in Google Sheets, so don't change that. Use the software that you're already using to make your conversational experiences better. Okay. We never found the screen sharing here on this, and I apologize for that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take I'm going to send you a couple of links in this comment that I was going to share if you don't have them already. Um, but one of them is our roadmap, and you'll see here. But this is something that we did with the lifetime deal that we've never done before, which is take our product development and make it accessible to everyone and make you active participants. So upvote the features, add the stuff you want. We see the stuff that's in demand, and you'll see in that link that basically the way this works is a bunch of stuff goes into a column for review, right? Like one of the things that the top things that's been suggested is they want the bot to suggest possible answers, so the user doesn't have to type anything. But the bot will generate a question and generate possible answers. Now that is something we can do, and we like that, and other people like that, which is why it's at the top. But it's in our review column, and then we have stuff that's in progress. So what's currently in progress right now. Connecting multiple Google Sheets, right? So right now you can connect just one Google Sheet. There's a good use case for connecting multiple Google Sheets. And I'll just give you a couple of examples, right? You might have, the main reason for that is that you have a bunch of different data sets that just don't all fit together on one sheet. The data doesn't match up, right? So maybe let's use real estate. It's an easy example, right? You've got, a bunch of you've got a bunch of, actually, no, let's use e-commerce. I like that one better. You've got a spreadsheet with all your products which you're selling, and then you've got another spreadsheet that has just coupon codes, and then you have another spreadsheet that has, like orders that you've already generated, and you're getting that data into a spreadsheet from Shopify. So you've got all these different data sets. And right now, just so you know, you can only connect one Google Sheet, but we think there's a good reason to connect multiple Google Sheets. Now, one question that we get often is, how does the chatbot know which data source to use, right? So you're uploading PDFs, you're scraping a website, you got a Google Sheet connected, now you've got multiple Google Sheets connected. Well, what you'll want to do is when you connect a Google Sheet, you'll want to provide a description of what that document is. Describe it in a way that, if it's products or real estate, or it's a restaurant, or any whatever it is, whatever data that you want, describe that document. So in the case of real estate, it's a directory of houses for sale, or a directory of properties, or a database of property listings. And AI will take the message that comes in from a user and decide which document source is best for responding, right? If someone says, I'm looking for a 3-bedroom apartment, and you have a directory, a spreadsheet full of properties and all their attributes, it's going to search the Google Sheet first. But if someone just says, oh, I'm interested in buying a home, and they don't provide any criteria, well, and you've uploaded a PDF, or you've scraped a website that you've trained on that data, then it's going to just answer that question. Sure, we're happy to help you find a home. So it's not personalized, it's not specific. It's just general knowledge. And so if you get a general inquiry through the chatbot, it's probably going to use your general knowledge. If you get a specific inquiry, then you can take and you can extract data from that message, or the bot can ask questions to collect that data. Then it's going to search that sheet. Make sure you describe your document. That would be the Google Sheet when you connect it, and know that multiple spreadsheets, connecting them, just like you would be able to add multiple PDFs or multiple URLs, you'll be able to add multiple Google Sheets. That's something we're working on right now. So in our roadmap, you can see in progress is our API, so anybody can connect to this thing. Data analysis chatbots. So that's just like, you've collected data, or you have a whole bunch of spreadsheets. You can just connect a spreadsheet and chat with your data. It'll give you actionable insights, tell it to generate a graph or a chart or a list, and it'll output that. It's like an AI data analysis. So in addition to data collection, we have data analysis chatbots, and that's something that we're testing, and it's useful. If you're working in Excel, you're not working in Google Sheets. Just take an Excel document, and you can just drag it into Google Sheets, and it'll convert it into that format. So all your spreadsheet data, you can analyze. It's having like a personal data analysis without having to pay for it, or at least you're paying once for life, and you get access to that. Okay, so what else have we got here? I know which is pretty cool. Webhooks is something that we released, and that's something we released just since we started our lifetime deal, which is, we're writing the data. The chatbot's collecting data. It's writing it to Google Sheets, which is fine, because Google Sheets is accessible to everyone, right? You can, if you're an agency, just share a link with your client to the Google Sheet, and they can access all the lead data, right? If you're working with, some other system, you can always just export from Google Sheets in CSV format. Boom, upload that. Or if you're using like Zapier or Make.com or whatever workflow automation tool, you can move that data into any other system. So webhooks is something we provide where it's a direct link. We'll take the chatbot, we'll collect some data, and if you've got a platform that has that supports JSON, we'll send the data the bot collects to some other platform, and you can store that data. So all it needs is an endpoint, if you're familiar with that. So webhook is cool. We released that. And so that we have 3 columns. In review, things we're evaluating. In progress, things we're currently working on, and things completed. And the stuff that we completed is pretty big. But I just wanted to, appreciate your patience. I know everyone wants, we want this, and it's tough. I'll say it's challenging, right? To manage everyone's needs, and the best thing to do is just, keep bugging us about it, but use the roadmap that we have. Use that board. It just helps us so much easier to manage. Right, and we can measure how much demand there is for something. If only a couple of people want it, and some people are very loud about that feature, it doesn't mean we're going to build it, or at least it doesn't mean we're going to prioritize it. We want to prioritize based on what's going to please the most number of people. What else do we have here? I'm just going through the comments, guys. Appreciate these comments; they're really good. Can we ask QA to gather more info from users? Can we ask Q&A? Your bot's going to ask the questions. So you're just telling the bot what data you want to collect, and it's going to generate the questions. You don't have to write the questions. And the reason that you don't write the questions is because it doesn't follow just like a form, right? It is like a conversational form, but it doesn't follow a path, because it's a two-way discovery. Somebody has some questions for you. You're going to want to answer those questions. You're going to have some questions for them. It really is a much more human conversational experience. It doesn't feel like, as a customer, I don't feel like when I interact with our bots and we're testing them, I don't feel like it's it's scripted, right? And I think that's a big reason why people hate chatbots in the past, is that they're like, oh, this feels like it's being scripted for me, and I don't want to be, follow a formula that they've let out. I have some questions, and I'm just gonna, if you think of the old school call centers where you'd call in and you'd be, press 1 or press 2 and then press 3, right? Nobody likes that. That's why they always hit 0. Right? They're like, just let me get to a human so I can ask some questions. So keep that in mind, that is, we're trying to get away from all that. this idea that you're funneling them or you're scripting a conversation, forget all that. It doesn't work. We have tons of data across thousands of chatbot deployments to prove that it doesn't work. And a lot of the marketers out there will say, oh yeah, I'm building these conversational funnels and they produce, we've done, $1 million for our clients in 2 weeks. And a lot of it's BS because I've seen all the data right from the system level. Those things don't work, especially because they just become like, they work if you have like 1 or 2 steps max. As soon as you have a bunch of steps, it never works. Okay, let's see. Let me just see here. There's some good questions in here. If I add a live link to the Google Sheet for, say, 2-bed, 2-bath in a specific city at a specific point, can Botsheets pull the current listings from the URL? When you say pull the current listings, not sure if you're thinking that Botsheets is going to extract data from that URL. I'm going to tell you no, it doesn't do that. What it'll do is you can put all your data points in like, have a column for bedrooms, bathrooms, location, have a column for URL, and then just put the URL to the listing, and then when the bot will respond, oh, I found a property that matches with 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. You're going to love it. Here's a link to it, and then they click that link and they're taken to the listing. What else can we do here? I think there's something. One of the features what I think is really cool is actually, which I think we can do fairly easily, is add a link to the image in a Google Sheet, and the bot will pull in that image, render the image in the chat. So that's something I think we could do. Is like, oh, here's a photo here's some photos, and right, and that's kind of like, this is sort of the we call them different response types. So it's going to respond with text, maybe it'll respond with images. But the format that we're going to get to soon is it's going to generate these cards, which is like a gallery of cards. It's going to have, if you have an image and a button and a description and everything, all the responses become much more actionable, right? Okay, how do you count credits? 10,000. Let me just see here. How do we? Okay, Well, I lost it here. How do you count credits? Okay, so this is important. For every message that you get sent, or for every message that we process, and that message, an AI uses your knowledge documents, like your PDFs or your URLs, or the same stuff that everybody else has. It's always 1 credit for 1 message. So it's always 1-to-1, right? And if you look at some of the other like offerings on the market, some of them charge, some of them they'll charge you like 20, right? Especially if you're using GPT-4. For us, it's always 1 credit to 1 message. If you're using the Google Sheets as a database, it's 10 credits. Okay, it's a little bit more, but you're getting a lot more value out of that response. It's much more accurate, it's more personalized, and quite honestly, it's just more delightful for your customer. So yes, you are paying more credits for that. But what I would say is, it's use your own API key, or if you're an agency, just get your clients to provide you with their open AI key. And all of the messaging is unlimited, and it becomes at their expense. And you can add a different API key for every chatbot. So it's not on an account level. Every bot is managed, can request from different accounts. Okay, so, and the sort of the 10 credits per message, I would say that's fairly reasonable. We might lower it. I don't think we'll raise it. That's kind of the ceiling. And I think what we might do, what we're doing is we're working on ways that you can earn free credits. We want you to become advocates for the product. You like it. We have an affiliate program like everybody else. But what we'll do is if you join the affiliate program, you can redeem earnings. And you refer SaaS, like subscription subscribers to us, you can redeem earnings towards buckets of credits at a significant discount. So we're happy to give you more. What you bring to us, we'll give back to you. That's how we look at it. Just like we look at this lifetime deal. Happy to give you guys a lifetime deal on our product because you're giving us such actionable feedback that we can use to understand what you want and sort of engage with you, just like I am right now, to make the product the best in class. Okay, so what is this question here? Can we delay the email asking from the bot so it asks that after some questions not direct at the beginning? Okay, so you don't want the bot to. No. Currently, I think a best practice is to ask for the user's name right away, right? And I would say a name and even an email address. And the reason is because I think that's a big missed opportunity with most of the chatbots on the market, is that they'll put a chatbot on their website and it sits there passively and it answers questions. But if you're not capturing that valuable first party data, then it's just such a big missed opportunity. Here you have a chance you're engaging in a conversation with your customer and you're not taking anything away from them. All you're doing is answering their questions and it's a black box. You have no idea what's going on. You have no way to follow up. So it doesn't mean you need to ask lots of data. I would get a name right away so you can personalize the experience for them. And if you can't, try and capture their email address. And it doesn't mean that those fields need to be required. If it's not required, the bot's only going to generate a question, or it should only generate a question once. And then if it doesn't get it, move on, right? And it'll just say, do you have any questions for me? And at that point, right? So that's just, I would say, that's my answer for that. Let's see here. If ever my chatbot meets another chatbot, I want mine to win. Sounds like a rap battle of chatbots. Okay. How far away is the ability to pass off the conversation to a human? It's a really good question. I don't know because I don't know if we're going to facilitate that ourselves or if we're going to make it easy to just literally hand off to a live chat system. Yeah, I mean, currently our focus right now is messaging automation and getting the data that you need to then follow up with the customer. But if you're looking to sort of take over live and tag team with your AI, I've done that before in the past. That was my previous business was a hybrid AI live chat solution, and I find that most people they want the bot to do all the work. They don't want to do the live chat. It's kind of it was always like a fallback if the AI fails, but the AI doesn't seem to fail as much as these days. It seems to generate a reasonable response, and as long as if you can capture an email address, just follow up with them right away. Doesn't mean we're not going to do it. I just don't have an answer for how we're going to execute on that because most people just haven't asked for that yet. Let me see here. Okay. So 1 credit, 10 credit Google Sheet is 1 response. Oh, sorry, the messages are going quick here. Yeah, if you're using Google Sheet, just another thing. So this is to answer Lyle's question. Yeah, we have a credit system. Okay, you're on our tier 3. We provide 10,000 credits every month, which is usually enough for a lot of businesses, unless you're doing a significant volume, or you're an agency that has clients that are doing significant volume. And within those 10,000, you have there's a bunch of options, right? That's like that we're giving you those credits. You can use your own API key if you need more. You can buy additional message credits from us, or you can earn them as part of our affiliate program, right? Partner with us, drive people into Botsheets. We'll give you back a whole bunch of message credits in addition to the 10,000, right? But the 10,000, how it breaks down is you have different knowledge documents. You've got your PDFs, your URLs, right? That's unstructured data. That's what everyone does, right? That's why you see responses that are sometimes inaccurate or made up, right? And our bots do that too because we've trained on those documents, right? Those are always one message equals one credit. Okay. For the Google Sheet queries, it's 10. One message is 10 credits, and it's 10 times better. The response, the customer experience is 10 times better when you use structured data, and it's only as good as your data too. So if you don't have a lot of data, that's up to you. But if you have some good data in there, and it's actionable, it's such a better customer experience. So we think it's worth 10 times what you're yeah. And there's no overages costs on the credits. Like I said, we sell additional message packs. You need another 1,000 message credits, $10. You need 50,000. It scales like that. So the credits they're really just like it's a gift for you, right? Use our system. And if you want to use your own API key, just make sure that your OpenAI account or whoever's key you're using, if it's your clients, make sure that it supports GPT-4 because you're going to need that. And then you're not paying us, you're paying OpenAI. Maybe it's cheaper for you. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But either way, it's not at our cost. But it makes it unlimited. We don't roll over the unused credits. They're monthly. So you can track that in our dashboard. We have like a little meter that shows you your usage of credits. So unfortunately, they don't roll over. How frequently the data can be refreshed in the Google Sheets. So I already covered that. Connect to Google Sheet once, and currently we're updating it. We keep AI in sync with your data once every hour. That's the current interval. That's subject to change. But that's how we're doing it right now. And I mean, the beauty of that is you could literally be training ChatGPT working directly from your Google Drive. Just make changes to your data. We keep AI in sync with your data. You keep control over the data that you share. Amazing. Make changes, and because it is frequently changing data, it's so much more efficient to just make the changes in the sheet, and then your bot captures those updates. You don't have to keep deleting old documents and uploading new documents and using up other usage. It's connect once, and you've got literally a database for your chatbot. Let's see, what is other questions here? Can I program Botsheets to ask random questions without any order? Yeah, sure. If you want it to be like completely random, I would just add all the data points which your chatbot's going to use to generate the questions, but then go into the prompt editor. So you would go bot settings, data, rules. That's where it is. Scroll down to the prompt editor and just change the rule that says, ask questions in a logical order. Just change the rule to say, ask them randomly. You might have to play around with that logic, but you have full control over the rules of how it's going to, the order of the questions in that sense, but by making them totally random. Here's a good one. Can the bot do a comparison? E.g., customer selects property, then the bot can compare and give the features of those two properties. Yeah, well, sure. The way in the real estate demo, which I think is on YouTube, our YouTube channel, is it'll if it finds more than one property, that matches some criteria, it'll say, I found, here are 3 properties which meet your preferences, and or meet some preferences, right? So yeah, it doesn't. It's not just going to find one. If there's more than one possibility, it'll do that. Um, so that's helpful as well, and that's going to get really nice when we add that those cards response types. We'll be like, I found a bunch of properties that match your result, and then you see a bunch of cards with pictures of the properties and a button that says arrange viewing, and you click that button, and it'll take you to their launch your Calendly or whatever booking application you've added as a link in the sheet, and there you go. So appreciate Martin. I appreciate your feedback and your support. You've been with us for a while. Let me see here. Try this. Put the code into ChatGPT and ask it to adjust the code to have your image link. ChatGPT will write your code. Oh, okay. So you're just providing some help there. What other things? Yeah, if you wanted to get started and try, we have a free plan, so it's very limited. But you can it can experience some value, and that's just at botsheets.com. So I'll put that in the comments. What else? Yeah, I think that's about it for today. That takes us to a full hour. What I would say is that if you have any like additional questions for me, feel free to reach out to me personally. I'm happy to respond. My email is Josh, Josh. I'll put that in the email as well, or in the comments here. Just send me an email, and happy to answer. I know there's a lot of different questions, and some of it we covered here, and some of it we'll do another one of these as things go along. But there's a lot of like opportunity here to do a bunch of different things when you can manage that content like a database, and without having any database skills. If you know how to use Google Sheets, or spreadsheets, then you can benefit from this immediately. But there's a lot of different use cases, and I'm excited to hear about all of them. And I would encourage you to take advantage of the lifetime deal, because there's probably a couple of weeks left, and then we're going subscription only. So it's probably a good time to get in. And appreciate all of you. Sorry the screen share didn't work. I'll figure that out. We'll do a follow up, and we'll do another. And I'll walk you through some cool use cases. All right, guys. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Thanks.